Like if one door shuts, another does indeed open. At that moment, it may not be so clear. I've seen in my life that in hindsight, there's wisdom in letting it be.
Shalini, you're often featured on lists of sort of most powerful women in the beauty business. How does this make you feel, and what do you want to do with this power?
So I think, firstly, being on these lists is more an outcome of the years that I've spent in the industry and the position I also am at currently at L'Oreal. So how do I feel about it? I think it's a twofold thing. Firstly is the responsibility then at L'Oreal to, as current day custodian of the brands, in how we really, with the teams, shape them into brands that people love and use. And I think secondly, I remember recently we were interviewing candidates and so on, and this young girl who at the end of the interview said, that I'm really inspired by you. And I said, I've never thought about it like that, but more recently, a few of those occasions make me feel like I'd love to do something going forward, in mentoring and, being there for women who are coming into the workforce as they grow.
But Shalini, these are very complicated times, especially for beauty. I mean, it is the age of the selfie. It's a time when I think platforms like Instagram have really kind of taken human vanity to another level. What's the challenge for you in a time like this to be the CMO of a cosmetics giant like L'Oreal?
So what you call vanity, I see as an opportunity for self-expression like never before. So I think today anybody has a platform in which they can express themselves with respect to, how they want to look and how they want to be seen or perceived. And I think while it's a challenge for us at L'Oreal, it's more an opportunity to both inspire and educate and inform, both men and women in what they're seeking and give them the tools to make the most of it.
Shalini, you had said in an interview that most of our decisions are data-driven. Mm-hmm. So where does your sort of creative instinct or your gut kick in?
I think gut and instinct are at the core of everything. I think maybe the context of, I don't know the context in which I said that, but for me, when you're informed by data and add on top of that all the experience that you have and your instinct, that's when you make the best decision. So I don't know if you've read Daniel Kahneman, he talks about system 1 and 2. And when you use both together, is when you make the best decisions. So data is what informs what we do.
Shalini, there's one thing that we all look for from our jobs. For different people, it's different things. What are you looking for? What are you in it for?
So I think for me, I'm in it for the pure joy of the everyday creation opportunity we get. So at the end of every day, how do you feel about the work that we've done and the fact that it actually impacts everyday lives of people around us? That's a very empowering and a very humbling feeling. And I really enjoy working with people. And I think this kind of a role just allows you to work with people across the spectrum. We have great young teams here, and you're always learning from them while you're leading, a large mandate. But you're learning from your teams, you're learning from your agencies. So that process, both the process and the result are what I'm in it for.
And do you have moments when it all just feels like it's too much? And do you have moments when you feel overwhelmed? And what do you do to get past that?
I think there are about, I'm sure 4 times in a year. I don't know what happens for you, but at least maybe 4 times in a year where I'm like, okay, what am I doing? And this is really
full existential crisis.
Existential crisis. But rest of the time, not really. And when I do, I kind of have learned to, just kind of switch off, maybe take that weekend to not open my laptop and not do anything that I do otherwise, to just kind of reconnect with myself and then just keep going, I think.
So what's like a typical day like, and what's the most joyous part of it?
Typical day is, well, I like to try and work out every morning. So it starts with somehow getting out of bed, a personal trainer, and getting something done, kickboxing, weights, whatever. Then I spend an hour with my kids, getting them out of the house and onto the bus. Not always a pleasant hour, but happens. And then I try and get an early start.
How old are the kids?
They're 13 and 11. And then it really is about getting an early start on emails, try and get into office by 9, so I get an early start. And the day, I try not to emails during the day, spend more time with the teams, with people in meetings and so on. And on a good day, I'd like to be home at 7:30 for dinner with the kids again and spend some time with them. By the time they're in bed, I read, finish up on the emails, and I'm quite exhausted. I go early to bed on weekdays.
Of course, only women ever get asked about this great work-life balance. I've never heard anyone ask a man, how do you do it, right? But the truth is that women are required to be multitaskers at a level that perhaps men aren't. So how do you do it? How do you achieve this great, elusive work-life balance?
Yeah, so like I was saying, it is quite cemented, I think, that women can't have it all, right? I mean, I think that's what everyone is.
That?
I think if you really want both, if you really want, like for me, I'm very stimulated and I love what I do at work. Equally, I always wanted to be a mother and I have two wonderful children who exasperate me, but I love being a parent to them. I think then you just make it work. So then I think it's about that choice that you make, that you make a choice, think both are important. There'll always be times when you have FOMO one way or the other, but you kind of just embrace it and move on. And in addition to that, I think multitask, I think I rock at it. I'm very good at multitasking. But at the same time, and it might sound contrarian, I think what I've learned helps though, is to be in the moment and present in what you're doing. So if I'm here in a meeting with my agency and my team brainstorming on something, I have to say, okay, put phone away, put it there. It's okay if the kids call and, I'll focus. And equally, dinner time with the kids is, okay, no phones, no devices. It can wait. Nothing is rocket science. And, be in that moment fully. I think both of this help. And the third, of course, which everyone says, but it's true for me, is ask for help. So people around you, your husband, mother, mother-in-law, support system, the house runs independent of me, as I say, helps.
So then you do have it all.
I do have it all.
I'm
grateful, I think, for what I have.
Absolutely. How wonderful. That's just so great. Because I know that conversation with Indra Nui, the iconic conversation when she did say that women can't have it all, really sort of sent all of us into this kind of, but can we not mode? And it's so wonderful to hear you say that you do have it all.
Yeah, because I think it's a question of how you see it. I can see it as a compromise or I can see it as a choice. And, there's always something you could be doing when you're not doing this at work. But you have to make it work for you.
And what advice would you give to your younger self, Shalini?
I think I would say don't worry so much about what's next and enjoy being whatever you are, 20, 25, whatever that younger self is. And especially don't worry about what other people think. I think that's something which, is very much in our culture, our DNA as well, right? What will they say? What will your neighbor say? What will that uncle think, etc. And I said, don't worry about that, would be my one big thing. And yeah, the second one would be don't worry about uncertainty, embrace uncertainty. It's okay to not, a little bit linked, but don't worry so much about what's going to happen, or it's okay to not know and to walk into the unknown.
And not have a plan.
And not have a plan.
And are there any sort of Shalini mantras that you live by?
Well, I think for me, the things that I have come to consider are be yourself. There are many routes to being a leader. There are many ways you can be a leader, limitless ways, many routes to success. Find your own and stay with that. Don't have to follow anybody else's template. I think the second that's always worked for me is do your present job like it's the only thing. And, and the results will come and what's next will follow. So be in that moment, do your best is really the second one. And the third one would be don't worry about missing out. Like if one door shuts, another does indeed open. At that moment, it may not be so clear, but in hindsight, you'll see that it does.
Yeah, I found that too. Something better almost always comes along.
Correct. So, and at that moment, you feel miserable, you're not sure, but I've seen in my life that in hindsight, there's wisdom in letting it be. So I think those would possibly be three.
That's wonderful, Shalini. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.